Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Recorder series of automation recipes. On the previous session, we had a general overview of the basic features of the recorder, how to use the recorder, map elements, interact with elements. On this session, we'll take a look on how to interact with some more complex elements. We'll still be using this demo application. We have more elements here, more varied elements. So we're going to try to use the recorder to interact with those other elements. I'll show you how to leverage the recorder to automate combo boxes, list boxes, tree view menus, and other kinds of elements. So now I'm going to move on to this combo box here. You can see this country combo box has a list of many different countries. So how can I use the recorder to interact with this element here? How can I choose a country among this list in the combo box? So we're going to do the same as always. We're going to map this element using the recorder. So we're going to put our mouse cursor over it, and we're going to map it holding the Ctrl key. And then we are going to take a look at this in the tree view. So as you can see, this is indeed a combo box, right? You can see right here the type of the element and the name of the element. So the type is combo box and the name is combo country, right? CMB country. Now to the right of the element tree view, we have the element data view. And here you can see all kinds of data about that element. We have the class name, we have the ID, the inner text, we have the tag name. And down here we have the XPath to this element. The XPath is the path around the tree of elements that lead to this element that we see here. So we're going to use this XPath to manually set the set value command to interact with that combo box. So we're going to come here and search for the set value command. I could also do this automatically by using the recorder and going to actions and then set value, but we're going to do this manually just so you can see that you can rely on the information that you see there in the elements information panel. I'm going to use this XPath to identify this element here in the set value command, and in the value specifically I'm going to choose one of these countries here. Let's see, let's go with Brazil. Let's go with Brazil. So we're going to type Brazil there, and it needs to be exactly the same as it is in the combo box, so I even have to use the capitals the same way. So you can see that Brazil here is written exactly as it is in the combo box here in the set value command. I'm going to save this. So now let's try running the bot. The bot should do everything we did before, set all those username, first name, and all that stuff. And it also has to set Brazil in the combo box. So you see there, it shows Brazil in the combo box. You may have noticed that it even scrolled down in order to find Brazil among the options in the combo box. So we can use the set value command to interact with combo boxes as well. And I also did this manually to show you how the recorder is not only a method of interacting with elements, of automating elements themselves, but it's also a tool to gather information about the elements, gather information about the element selectors, the element's properties, and we can use those properties in a variety of ways, such as the one I did right now. I manually automated the element by using the command manually and using the information I got from the tree view properties using the recorder. And we could have done this the same way we were doing it before by mapping the element and then choosing actions in the recorder bar and then choosing set value and then even choosing auto suggest and setting the value there. It would work the same way. I just wanted to do it manually this time to show you how you actually can rely on the information that we get from the element data panel, from the element data view that is right next to the elements tree view. Now the next element we're going to try to interact with is this list box, this language list box right here. So once again, we mapped it, and you can see here it is a list box. You can see the type of element, list box, name list box 1, and all the options inside that list box are also here. And you can even see the path, the XPath to each one of them as well. This time, let's try doing this automatically with the recorder bar. We're going to use the set value command again, and this time we're going to choose XPath. And we're gonna choose the language Portuguese, which is Portuguese. Again, just like the combo box, it has to be exactly the same as it is in the list box. You can see that the capitals and the accents are exactly the same. And we're gonna run this bot, and we're gonna see that it does everything that we did before. It's gonna choose Brazil in the combo box, and it's gonna choose Portuguese in the language list box. So again, as you can see, The set value command is a very versatile command. We can use it to interact with many kinds of elements, not just input boxes, but also combo boxes and even list boxes. Now, so far, we've only been inputting information, right? We've only been inserting information into the application. So how can we extract information from the application? This is the next step. So we're going to go ahead and press the send button here. The send button sends the information that we put in the input boxes to the left to the output field towards the right. So as you can see, as we press the send button, the information is there. So we're going to try to capture this information from this field. We're going to get this information and we're going to save it into a variable in IBM RPA. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to do the same as we always do. We start the recorder, and first, before we can actually capture the information from this field, we actually need to send the information over there. So we could do the same as always. We could map the send button and then go into actions and use click. But now we're actually going to do a different method. We're going to use the vision driver to click on this little button here. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to go to the snipping tool. We're going to activate the snipping tool. And as you can see, that opens up a screen that magnifies the area of the screen where our cross cursor is at. Basically what we're going to do here is we're going to map this send button here. Just hold the left click and drag the mouse. And as you see, it's highlighted in green. We're going to right click on this green area, go to click, and at the image's center. And now I have the click command configuration window open up, but this time we're using the vision driver, as you can see here. And we even have the image that we captured using the snipping tool. You can see here the send button, the image of the send button that we mapped and we captured using the snipping tool. This image is going to be used as an asset to the script, and this is the image that the bot's going to use to click in reference to the screen. By using the vision driver, we can click on specific images, specific parts of the screen by using image capture. The bot looks for that image in the asset to perform the click. We can use the vision driver in many different ways, and we're going to look into that further on our next session about the recorder. But keep in mind that the vision driver is a very handy tool when you can't really click on a button when there is no way to identify the button using the backend API. You can always rely on image clicking to click on certain elements on the screen by using the vision click. I'm going to go into more details about this on our next episode with some best practices about how to use the vision driver exactly. Before we save, we're just going to change the similarity degree from 100% to 80%, just so that the click is performed a little faster. And since the send button is very unique, there is no other way, there is no other place on this application that has this send button image anywhere on it. It's okay if we leave it at a slightly lower accuracy rate. So let's close the application first and try running the bot as is to see if the click by using the vision driver is performed correctly. So again, it's going to do everything we did before. Choose Brazil in the combo box, choose Portuguese in the language, and click the send button there. See, everything performed very fast by the bot, and the click on the send button was also performed really fast by using the vision driver. As you can see here, the information has been sent to the output field here on the application. So this is the part where we're going to actually capture the data from this output field. So we're going to map it just as we map any other field, any other element from before. Now we're going to go into actions and get value. We're going to leave it on auto suggest. And here everything is already filled out just as we need it. The recorder already filled out all the necessary parameters to identify the element. We're just gonna define a variable here in the value parameter to store the value from this output field. Let's name this variable just as output. And the next step is we're gonna use the log message command to display the value of the output variable on our output console to see if the value captured from this element, from this output field, has been successfully obtained and stored in the variable. So now we're going to close the application again and run the bot again, and it's going to do everything as before. You see that the bot works really reliably. It's going to do everything as before, just the same. Choose Brazil in the combo box, choose Portuguese in the list, click the send button and capture the information. And you can see that the information has been successfully captured. We can see it right here in our output console. You can see that even the first name comes out comes up twice in the output field. And you can see in the output field and in the output console, it's exactly the same. The first name shows up twice. So the information was obtained precisely as it is from this output field by using the getValue command. So this is how we can capture value from fields in applications using the recorder and using the getValue action. So the next element we want to interact with is the tree view we have down here. Right below the no-click button, we have the tree view where we can expand the tree. There are a few knots here in the tree, there are a few nodes. So this is where things start to change a bit. We're going to use the recorder again, and we're going to map this field right here. And we're going to go into the tree view, the element tree view. And you can see here, this is a tree view. We see the name of the element right there. And we can see here also the XPath to that command. So let's try something out. We're going to use the get tree nodes, and we're going to use that XPath right here. So we can see if the IBM RPA bot can identify this tree view and return to us a list with all the tree nodes on that tree. And we're going to start from the root of the tree, which is the tree node. Let's put the tree nodes here in the output console as well, so we can see if the bot managed to capture, to recognize all the nodes in the tree. And before we start the bot, let's comment all the other commands. We're going to comment out all these commands. We're going to choose all the commands we want to comment and hit Ctrl E, then C. Now all these command lines are now comments. They will no longer be executed when the bot starts. So we can actually get to the point, right? We actually get to the point where we capture the nodes, the node names from the tree view without having to watch the bot do everything all over again. So it's just gonna, you see, it did click on that tree node, and we can see here color, sports, and food, which are the nodes that come right after the root tree node. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use that same XPath here from the root tree, and now we're going to use the expand tree command. The expand tree command is the command that we actually use to navigate along the tree. So basically how this command works is we're going to put the XPath to the tree here, and on the path parameter of the command is the path that we actually want to navigate on the tree. So every node of the tree needs to be separated by a line break. So the first node is tree, of course. The root of the node is called tree. And remember, just as always, this needs to be exactly the same as it's written. So the capitals need to be the same. And we're going to try to navigate to the colors node. So we type tree, hit enter to make a line break, and then colors. And we're going to save this command. And I'm going to put a little delay here, a little 1 second delay on the expand tree command so that the bot waits 1 second between one node and the other, so we can actually see the bot performing the action, because it's way too fast if we don't put this little delay here. So just 1 second is enough for us to be able to visualize the action. So it's going to click on the tree node and then on the colors node. And as you can see, it expanded the colors node of the tree. We have here blue, violet, red, and yellow. We could do the same for every single other node on the tree. As a matter of fact, let's go back to the tree, to the expand tree command, and let's add another node here. Let's add red, so we can see the bot actually clicking on the red color after expanding the last node. So it's going to expand the tree node, and then the color node, colors, and then I'm going to click on red. There you go. See? So now that this is working, let's take it back from the top. Let's uncomment the rest of the commands in the script. And let's erase the output console. Let's clear it up and run the bot again. So now the bot's going to do everything that we got so far. There we go. See, the bot did everything we programmed it to do from the top, so everything's working. Now for the next step, let's try manipulating the slider here. We can see that there's a slider here in the app. How can we manipulate this using the recorder? How can we use the recorder to manipulate this element? And also the tabs. Let's see how we can interact with these tabs, how we can select each of them. Okay, so let's start the recorder again, and let's try to map this slider here. Okay, so I mapped the slider. Let's take a look at the tree, the element tree, to see if I got the correct element. Okay, so I didn't get the correct element. The correct element is this one, the slider track bar. This is the element that I should have gotten. So let's highlight it to see how it looks. Yeah, there we go. You see, that's the whole element right there. And we're going to use this XPath here to try and manipulate this slider. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use the offset value command. This is the command that you use to manipulate this kind of elements, slider elements. And we're going to use XPath to identify the element. And as you can see, it's using that XPath that we see on the element properties view. Now we're just going to set the value to offset it to 100%. We're going to go ahead and manipulate this slider. We're going to ask the bot to interact with this element and manipulate the slider all the way to 100%. And next, we're going to try to manipulate a tab. We're going to try to choose a different tab here in this tab view. So first, let's map the tab. Let's take a look at this in the element view, in the element tree view. Okay, so I got the tab, but I only got one of the tabs. We can see that there's a whole tab panel here. If we highlight this element, we can see that it highlights the entire element there. This is the element that we want to interact with. So we're going to go ahead and use the select tab command on this element. And we're going to choose XPath as well. As you can see, the XPath is the same as we see in the elements properties view. And you notice that for both the slider and for the tab control, this tab panel, I had to look into the element tree view to see if I got to the correct element. This is one of the main uses of the element tree view. We can use it to see if we capture the correct element from the interface. Sometimes we map an element and we think we are at the root element, but sometimes we're not. Sometimes we're actually mapping an element within another element. So here, for example, I mapped a tab, but I didn't map the whole tab panel. And the whole tab panel is the element that I want to use the select tab action with. So this is one of the main uses of the element tree view. We can have a more accurate view on what kinds of elements are in the interface and if we are interacting with the correct ones that we want. So for here, let's try to choose the second tab, which is on index 2. This would be tab 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's index 1 through 4. And now we're going to try to select tab 4, but this time we're going to do something different. We're going to map the tab itself this time. We're not going to use the entire tab panel, just this one specific tab. And we're going to go into Actions, click, and by XPath. So now we're not choosing the tabs using the select tab command. We're choosing the tab by using a click command on the specific tab we want. So let's see if that works out. So we have the offset value command, the select tab command, and the click command. We're going to drag these before the log message command. I want the log message command to actually be the last command on the execution. And I'm actually going to add a delay command here between the select tab command and the click command, because it's way too fast. If you don't add this little delay here, we might not be able to see the bot doing its thing, because it's going to choose the tab number 2 using the select tab command, and then it's going to choose this tab number 4 using the click command, right? There are two different methods of interacting with these tabs. And in order for us to actually be able to visualize this happening so the bot won't do it too fast, choose tab 2 and then choose tab 4, we barely see it happening. I'm going to add a delay here just so we can see the bot actually performing the action. Now that should be it. Let's try running the bot and see if it does its thing. First, it should fill out all the input fields, do the clicking, interact with the combo box, the list box, interact with the tree view, slider, choose tab 2, and then choose tab 4. See, there we go. So the bot did manage to interact with the slider. As you can see, it pushed the slider all the way up to 100%. And it did select both tab 2 first, using the select tab command, and then tab 4 using the click command. Now, which to use when choosing tabs? Here we used both select tab and click, right? So which one to use? Well, that really depends on the kind of application that you're trying to automate. Sometimes the best choice is using the select tab command. That would be the ideal choice, right? To use the command appropriate for that kind of action. But sometimes, due to the way that the element has been configured during development of the application, the select tab command won't work. It really depends on how the backend looks. So sometimes we need to rely on clicking. In this case, I used the click using XPath, but I could have also used the click using image click, like we did before using the snipping tool. So although they are appropriate commands to interact with each kind of element to perform each kind of action, that doesn't always pan out the way you plan. And that is exactly what we're going to look into in our next session. In our next session, we're going to take a more real-world application, an actual practical application, and we're going to try to automate that application. And we're going to look into what kinds of steps we take when performing real automation on a real-life application. Sometimes real-life applications, depending on how they were developed, are a little stubborn, and you need to be a little creative with your solutions. So that's exactly what we're going to see next time. Everything we saw so far on these two sessions is very much the ideal world, right? This application, as I mentioned before, is a demo application. So this was developed in an ideal way. This was developed with every single element very well organized, very well identified. The backend code for this application is very well organized. It's very flawless. But we know that's not how it always works, right? So tune in next time. We're going to try to automate a real application, and we're going to see what we can do when things don't go as planned when we're using the recorder to automate a Windows application. So looking forward to see you next time.